What's up, folks? Stu Myrick, Sportscast Talking Wrestling on the Horn. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good beginning to your week. Things are going well here as we get ready for another week of wrestling talk. Getting it ready for not only podcasts, but we'll be on the Horn tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. Tonight, there isn't a whole lot of big stories. There's the usual stuff on SmackDown and Raw, and I will say it now, and I'll have to say this when Justin gets here. Monday Night Raw this week, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. It was barely decent, but it had a couple of positives. It still had some negatives, and we'll go through that. SmackDown, the big story there, Daniel Bryan has been banished from SmackDown after losing to Roman Reigns in the Universal title match. So, of course, the question on everybody's mind is, what does he do now? Does he show up on Raw? Does he show up at NXT? Is he done with WWE? There was talk that his contract may be expiring soon, and I believe he has let it be known that he is looking to, at the very least, back off from his career. I'm not sure he's going to go completely retired, but he wants to, definitely slow down. He's got a family, he's got kids, got the wife, so we'll see what happens. We'll also talk Mission Pro. I was at Locked and Loaded on Saturday night at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda, just right outside of Austin. I mean, as in literally, a good 3-wood shot from Austin. And yes, I did witness the confrontation, the conflagration, as they used in the movie Argo, between former NWA Women's World Champion, one of our favorites, Thunder Rosa, and one of our other favorites, the leader of the Busted Open Nation, the host of Busted Up on Sirius XM, Dave LaGreca. It was good to see Dave. I posted a picture of us, and I think I said something to the effect of, I've been to his neck of the woods several times, being in New York. He lives in New Jersey, but close enough. So it was great to finally have him in my neck of the woods. Granted, South Austin, but hey, it's close enough. But oh man, at the end of the night, I think he may have learned his lesson. We'll see. I have not had a chance to listen to Busted Up in the last couple of days, so for all I know, he may have decided, he may still be, wanting more. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll talk about that. We'll also talk AEW this week. So, as luck would have it, the radio show will air about the time that Blood and Guts starts on AEW Dynamite this week. But we'll talk a little bit about it. I put out a text to Dustin Rhodes, our dear friend, our AEW correspondent, because he's in Jacksonville. They're getting ready for the show, and he's got production meetings and such. We'll see if we hear from him. It's one of those things. If he catches a few minutes, he might call, and we'll break. Whatever we're doing, we'll stop there and bring him on. So, but we'll talk about that. So, like I said, there just isn't. It's a quiet week. WrestleMania Backlash is not until next weekend. At least I think that's what it is. That's pretty sure it's not this Sunday. I believe it's next Sunday. I don't think they would put it on Mother's Day. Yeah, yeah, it's next Sunday. So, I mean, and I guess it's probably good that they are calling it WrestleMania Backlash because you're going to see quite a bit of like rematches from WrestleMania, which whatever. I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like what Justin and I were talking about. There was a time when WrestleMania was kind of the end slash that was the separation for the seasons. Their season. Like a TV season. So after WrestleMania, they kind of reboot everything. But right now, no. It's going to be quite a bit of wonder. In fact, I have not seen what the card looks like as of now. I'm going to go prowrestling.net. Jason there always has a good. Oops, there we go. Prowrestling.net. He always, he'll do, among his articles, he'll do like a, kind of just here's what's booked so far for. There we go. Updated card. There we go. I knew Jason Powell would have it. Let's see. As of right now, 3 matches, which is kind of what we figured. 2 of them triple threat. So, yeah. This is the part of the problem with being a, for lack of a better term, for becoming nothing more than a content creator. Kind of like what we hear Jordan and Eddie talk about on Fight Night. Doing cards just for the sake of filling those spots on ESPN Plus. Same thing with WWE. They got to fill those spots on Peacock, which and from everything you hear, that's why it's called WrestleMania Backlash instead of just WrestleMania. So, do a screenshot of the card. That way I don't have to, much as I love, prowrestling.net, you get all the pop-up ads. So there we go. We got it. But a few other things. Let's see. Oh, I'll talk about last week was, as far as I'm concerned, it was a great week for me because I had not one but 2 tours of I would say new pieces of the Austin sports and entertainment landscape. So last Wednesday, I was invited on a media hard hat tour of the site for the new Moody Center. Now, for those of you outside the city of Austin, the Moody Center is the new arena that is going to replace the Irwin Center, the Frank Irwin Center. It's supposed to be primarily a concert venue, although the Texas Longhorns men and women's basketball teams will play there as well. And since it's going to replace the Irwin Center, likely that's where we will find WWE when they come to town. I mean, I would think as of now that's where we'll find them because I don't think they go to the HB Center at Cedar Park. Although they might. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, and this is all contingent on, there is the talk that WWE, as well as AEW, may be touring again soon. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got to see, now it is still very much a construction site, but you could see pieces, you can see little pieces of it being put in place. Now, the Moody Center is not scheduled to open until April of next year. And this was done, the tour was done in conjunction with them opening up sales of what they're calling concert memberships. So they're going to have club memberships for concerts that will be separate from season tickets for basketball. Now, I would assume that there will be something where you can buy both. They'll have a combo, but they're touting this as a state-of-the-art concert venue. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The other thing I had to do last Friday. So Q2 Stadium, which is the home, it's going to be the home for Austin FC, the new Major League Soccer team here in Austin. And they had a soft opening for their team store. They call it the Verde store. And so they invited members of the media to come check it out. And so while I was there checking out the racks of jerseys and hats and scarves and the section they have upstairs is, Yeti, all Yeti stuff, because Yeti, of course, is a big sponsor of Austin FC. So you can get your Yeti cups and coolers and everything else with the Austin FC logo. Well, while I was there, Tom Webb, who is the vice president of public relations and broadcasting for Austin FC, he was there, and so he took me outside because it was the first time I got to go inside the stadium. So he showed me a little bit of the stadium. And the stadium's almost finished. They've got some finishing touches to put on there, which is why they don't have a home match until June 19th against San Jose. So he showed me like the seating and where the clubs are and the suites and the press box and, all sorts of stuff. It was really neat to see. And it's a beautiful stadium. Crazy thing is I could see a wrestling event there. Take AEW, for example. Someone like that. I could see them running Q2. They could run, I don't know if they're going to do exclusivity like the Irwin Center did with WWE, but AEW could do Moody Center. Definitely fit a page. Major League Fishing. They have a tour. They do, season, and they had one of their stops was here in Austin at on Lake Travis, and it's bass fishing, and it's comparable to Bassmasters, but the scoring is different. So, really cool. Anyway, let's see. What time is it? Yeah, Justin should be here soon. But otherwise, so it was a busy last several days. But it was a blast. It was just so good to get out, and you getting these tastes. There he is, just as I was saying. Hey, Justin, will you do me a favor? Before you come up, in my little cubby there on the printer, there should be some paper. It has Moody Center on it. Can you grab it for me? Thank you. Because I just thought about that. If we're going to talk about Moody Center, I need to have that press release from them. Perfect. So anyway, tomorrow, this is Tuesday night. So Thursday night, the Round Rock Express opened the 2021 season after we missed minor league baseball. They're playing Oklahoma City, the Dodgers. So, hi, Justin. What are you doing? You're moving stuff. Why are you moving stuff? So you can see. Oh, so you can see yes. Because I have got the TV going to watch NXT. Finn Balor's supposed to return.
Yeah, it's just the best show on wrestling,
It's up there. That's for sure. That's for sure. How you?
Oh,
You're busy. You're busy this weekend. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, busy, but
calling everything St. Edwards.
Yeah, busy, but more excited that my team is going to the Champions League final. So,
and which team is that?
Manchester City.
Man City. Well, congrats to Man City.
First time in club history. So it is.
Awesome.
I haven't followed the exploits and been part of all the tragedy. They were like the Detroit Lions of
Yes.
soccer for a really long time.
You know, I seem to recall that. Was it a few years ago? I think I heard something along those lines.
Maybe.
Because they were in Premier League at one time. I assume they've been relegated.
Yes.
Okay.
But they've been relegated many times throughout history before the inception of the Premier League. There's
Okay.
always been top-tier soccer.
Right. And you're the soccer expert. I'm only learning the very basics now that we have Austin FC.
Isn't everybody?
Which, by the way, Austin FC 2-1 so far.
Yeah, impressive for an expansion team in any sport.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And they got a match Sunday. I forget who it is.
Kansas City.
Is it? Is it Kansas City? Okay. In fact, that's one. So they sent the press release, and you retweeted it. They sent the press release that 2 of their matches upcoming, they've rescheduled. They've moved dates. I assume it's Sunday. It's going to be on FS1, and then another one that was supposed. I think it was Sporting KC in July. They moved it to June 12th. Now it's only going to be on local, so CW Austin for those of you here in Austin. But that also makes it 8. They'll play 8 road matches before they debut at Q2.
Yeah, but not unprecedented in MLS.
Right, I get that. Well, it's
when San Jose was getting their, I believe it was San Jose, but one of those teams when they were getting it was Sporting. Never mind. When Sporting was having their new stadium built, they had to start the season off 11 games on the road.
Right.
So
well, and you see, the Spurs go on the rodeo road trip every year, So I get that. So, but yeah, all in all, it was good. Yeah, I wanted to grab this because we're going to talk about the Moody Center. I got to see the construction site up close on Wednesday of last week, and it will likely be where the WWE will come when they come to Austin. Once they start touring. So
yeah, but is it pay-per-view worthy venue?
That's a good question. Let's talk about that in that segment. We'll talk about that in that segment. Hold on to that because I do want to talk about that a little bit. So let's do this thing. Let's have some fun with some wrestling talk. Here we go.
This is Baron Von Raschke, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. That is all you'll need to know. Turn your dial.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons with his Mario mask. Oh, that's Luigi. Well,
No,
I guess
they're both on there.
Mario's on there? Okay.
Yeah.
It's
a Mario Brothers
the fact that I
mask.
knew it was Mario and Luigi, I should get a little credit for being a non-gamer. So.
Oh, but it's a cultural icon right here.
Yeah, again,
And you've been to Japan.
Yeah, but I wasn't paying attention to
Now they're
video
gonna have
games.
now
I was paying attention to things I can't talk about.
Japan has a whole theme park that's going to open up.
Why does that not surprise me?
Just Nintendo at Universal Studios. It's going to be pretty cool.
Interesting.
I wish I could go visit, but we'll see how that will.
I wonder if Daniel
transpire.
Bryan will go visit that one of these days.
I'm sure that half of the AEW roster is going to go visit
Well,
at
now
some
hold it.
point.
Oh, are we breaking the news that Daniel Bryan is going to go to AEW? Is that what we're doing?
No.
Okay. All right. I didn't think so, but
I
mentioned Daniel Bryan because he's going to have some time on his hands now that he's no longer on SmackDown.
Well, that can
He's been
change here
banished.
tonight. That can change here tonight as we record this.
What do you mean it could change tonight?
Because NXT is rolling right now.
Well, right.
By the
What
time
does
we
that
fin-
have to do with SmackDown? I see he's banished from SmackDown
Yes.
after he lost to Roman Reigns in the Universal title
Yeah.
match. So, of course, the question now is what's next? Could he show up on NXT? Could he show up on Raw next week? Could he decide maybe this was the out? Because we've heard the rumblings, the rumor innuendo that he is looking to quietly back away because he's got his beautiful wife Bree, the kids,
Nah,
and that's what I'm saying. Maybe they could take the trip to Universal Studios in Japan and visit
This is pro
Mario World.
This is pro wrestling. It doesn't work that way. You're going to make money off of his retirement or his leaving your brand one way or another. You're not going to let him walk away without making money.
So you can't take a week or two and go visit?
He can have a week, but I don't think he's going to be heading to Japan right now, especially with their second house.
Well, that's true. They're getting bad.
They're concerned about hosting the Olympics as
Yeah, I know.
So
I know it's getting scary over there. Where would you like to see him?
NXT.
I would too. And it seems like just a default. Of course, you want to see him in NXT because you want to see him do like what Finn Balor is doing in NXT. What?
The godfather of NXT, because he essentially put it on the map, because he's one of the graduates of the original purposing, the game show version of NXT.
True.
But it was also one of those guys that really spearheaded and supported NXT, the brand, when it changed over into what it is now.
Right.
And there's a lot of respect between those guys that wrestle on that brand, and a lot of them you can already say took their style from him. So he's like the Kevin Bacon of pro wrestling, you know. He has
the 6 degrees.
Yeah, like everybody took something from Daniel Bryan just because he was.
By the way, did you know I have a Kevin Bacon number?
No.
Mine's 3.
Oh, nice.
So apparently there's like 3 levels where I'm connected to Kevin Bacon through a couple of indie films that I was in.
Ha.
And I am on now IMDb.
Oh, was that like Tremors 4 or something?
No, it was. We're getting off topic, but you remember David Anderson, who'd been in Austin radio forever and ever and ever.
Nope.
Okay, you never met him. David Anderson worked everywhere, including at the Horn. He was one of my mentors, one of my dearest friends, and so David was a screenwriter for a local movie production company. Dana Glover was the head of it, Median Films. And they did a couple of they did a mock documentary on ghost hunters, and I played a part in that.
Nice.
It was like a 30-second deal. I was an analyst with the Federal Bureau of Paranormal Investigations. And then they also did this short where they filmed it, and they filmed a scene overnight at Shoal Creek Saloon. And I was sitting at the bar, so I was man at bar.
Wow, that place has been there forever.
So I've got 2 movie credits that are listed on IMDb, and I have a Kevin Bacon number 3.
I mean, if you can get one more, and if those are all SAG films, you can get your SAG card.
I need to see. I need to see if they are or not. I don't know.
You only need 3 SAG productions in order to get the card.
That's true. Let me ask you this: there has, because there's been the rub when Finn Balor made his move to NXT. Everybody started talking about, okay, who would be that number 1 candidate that could benefit from coming off of SmackDown or Raw and going to NXT?
That's a good question, because a transition to NXT doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to benefit either the wrestler or the promotion.
Right, and that's a big part of that question.
Because it's like having multiple all-stars on one team. It's like, yeah, they're all great players, but do they all fit together? Because that's how you win. And in order for you to have a good wrestling product, you need to have everybody playing their parts.
True.
And if you have too many up top, it can cause some booking confusion. And we already know that, well, at least the Raw part isn't necessarily as strong at that right now.
No.
But NXT, some will say it's like having 2 starting quarterbacks,
with Finn and Daniel.
Yeah. So
believe me, we saw it a lot here at Texas. So we'll see what happens with Daniel Bryan. I would.
What, you want him to go to NXT
I'm split.
UK?
No, I don't think he's going to go to NXT UK. No, I don't think he's going to main event. Which, by the way, I found main event. Remember how I've been asking where does main event? I finally found it. It is on Hulu.
Okay.
It gets uploaded I think every Thursday, I guess.
Well, it films before Raw starts,
right.
so I don't know when they post it though.
Oh. Anyway, because apparently, remember when Ali was running Retribution,
Yes.
the godforsaken faction, and they had this rivalry with Ricochet.
Yes.
Well, apparently that rivalry has continued on Main Event
Oh, I know.
because we've seen the postings, and it's at least they're giving them time. Just wish more people could see it because not that many people. I mean, Hulu's got subscribers, but still.
It's not the same as being. You just figure, well, there's 3 hours on Raw. Couldn't you just stick that on Raw somewhere?
Yeah. Speaking of Raw, Monday night, this week's Raw, it wasn't horrible.
No.
It wasn't great. It was
Well, when everything.
I don't know if I want to call it good. It was decent,
Well,
which is a far cry from what we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks.
exactly where I was getting at. When everything's been so lackluster, even a
Even a slight bump up is better than nothing.
yeah,
right?
even passable seems pretty good by comparison.
And I even listed like a positives versus. Now they still got negatives, and we'll get into
But
those.
this-
but
but
they had
this-
some positives. We got to see some faces we haven't seen. Come on, you know this. Go to Crescendo. Drew Gulak, we saw him in the ring. We saw Angel Garza in the ring. And Lucha House Party, saw them in the ring.
Well, what's left of Lucha House Party?
Mansoor, the NXT and 205 Live star, who, I mean, outside of the few appearances on there, the only time we saw him was when WWE would travel to the Middle East. But he's on Raw.
So we're going to talk about Drew Gulak and Angel Garza and just completely lament over what transpired in their match with the Rose.
Well,
Without going into
again, I'm trying to put out the positives. I've been so negative on Raw. I'm trying to at least give it a few positives before we get to that.
Because I was going to say, like, oh, Drew Gulak, he wore pants instead of the short tights now with his new look. And it's like, I don't want to mention any of that.
Now, as you just mentioned, the Rose up the keister.
Yeah, real personal.
Someone explain that to me. What was? I mean, are they? Was he hoping to like? Were there thorns on the rose, and maybe wanted to give him a bad case of hemorrhoids or something? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you necessarily.
That was a.
I think he was just trying to make a mark.
That was well. I don't know if he did. It was a.
If it has anything to do,
it was an odd choice of strategy there.
Yeah, maybe, but we all know that was McMahon approved.
Probably was.
Anything with the posterior is usually going to get a laugh from the boss.
Yeah. Yes, this is true.
And
because Vince McMahon is like all, he still laughs at fart jokes.
Yes, forever 12.
Yes, 75 going on 12. All right, let's get to the negatives.
There were no negatives out of all
First
that.
of
What are
all-
you talking about negatives?
Okay, so they side. First of all, they reverse course on the whole Charlotte suspension. They bring her back, and now by her just asking, she is now part of the Raw Women's Title match at
Good
WrestleMania
for her.
Backlash.
Good for her.
Okay. See,
I
here's
was
the
like-
problem, and this is something.
I
Now,
was
this
like,
isn't
wait a
just.
minute,
This isn't just about this, though. This has been the pattern for the last several months.
Well, maybe more.
Basically, all you got to do to get a title match on Monday Night Raw, or even on SmackDown, sometimes is ask for it.
Yeah,
You don't have to earn it. You don't have to fight for it. You just say, "I want to wrestle you for the title." Okay.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes is just asking. You'd be surprised how many people will
But
say
that's the
yes.
problem. You say sometimes. No, this has been it's been all the time.
Well, it's been 2 times.
No. 2 times. It was 2 times Monday night.
3 times.
Stop it. I mean, eventually you got to have some sort of a backstory other than just Charlotte asked for it. I mean, and not to mention it is basically carbon copy of what they're doing with the WWE Championship with Drew and Bobby and Braun Strowman. They basically took that story, changed out for Charlotte, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley, and went.
Yeah, we'll see.
Why they can't come up with something more unique?
No, because this is WrestleMania Backlash coming up. That's
Sorry,
what
a little distracted by.
that's what they're prepping for. Yeah, Killer Croc is making his entrance on NXT.
Killer
as we
Cross.
speak.
You said Croc,
Oh.
and Scarlett. I was thinking Scarlett. I like Killer Cross. Met him a few times, but Scarlett. Anyway, but it's just lazy, in my view. And granted, we're 10 days away. It is quite obvious that we're in a lull period.
It's like, could you imagine how bad the NFL would be if there was no off season? Because
that, and that's why there have been those that have make something like that happen. But it just, I don't know. I put this as a mild negative just because, yes, it's another tag team splitting up, which Raw has, their tag team picture isn't great. But this is one that has been foreshadowed for months, definitely weeks. Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, they finally split up. We thought they were going to split up while they were still part of the Hurt Business. But they decided to wait until they kicked them out of the Hurt Business to split them up. I would suspect that means Cedric's probably going to end up on main event a lot.
that's what I was just about to say.
Shelton Benjamin, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his contract status is because it seemed to me like maybe this was a way to start writing him off. Because he's been doing it. He's been with WWE for quite some time.
This is his what?
This is his second one, right? After spending a lot of time in Japan. He was part of Suzuki-gun with Lance Archer.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you say, like, his second run, I'm like, dude, it's 2021. The guy was wrestling for WWE in 2006.
Yes. Oh, we know. We know.
So he's been wrestling for them for a while.
Yeah.
He's been at it. So, I mean, obviously he still looks good. He looks
He's
great. in the ring.
great.
So I'm like, maybe he gets a single push somewhere if they feel.
I
I
would-
mean, you think about.
I would love to see it, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Maybe,
on
but
it.
you think about, like, the year that Lashley's had where
but
he
he's
randomly
not
got the big
Lashley.
push.
They obviously he's not Lashley, at least in their eyes.
Yeah, he might not
Him
be.
go up against Sheamus?
Yeah, especially since everybody's asking who do you
Didn't
want?
he? Or he was IC title. He was IC champ. I don't think he was US champ. Was he? I can't remember. He's held one of them. All right. Just because I know you've been excited, a debut that has been talked about for weeks. For whatever reason, I have no clue. The return of Eva Marie.
Yes. How could you not be excited? I mean, this is a top-tier talent returning to WWE.
See, you couldn't even say that with a straight face.
She apparently has been working hard. And she always had the look.
I'll give you that. She's always had the look. She had the look the first time when she was, the lady in red.
Mm-hmm.
But last time the look, that was about all she had.
Oh, no, definitely. But if she's even a smidge better if she's even a smidge better now than she was then, that's a big win.
It would do her or her image a world of good not to throw her in the ring immediately. Have her be the outside manager advocate. That was the gimmick, but it was based on the fact that apparently she couldn't wrestle.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that, like,
And I hate saying that because you know how I am. I don't like criticizing talent.
But even if she can become like Maurice level,
If she can, if she can, like, say, walk out with somebody and be that the distraction or whatever, which, we need another distraction finish because apparently that's all WWE does nowadays. It's distraction finishes. But I would not throw her in the ring just yet.
So you're saying you want her to be a valet?
Have her build up a little bit.
Like a valet?
No, because they don't do valets really outside.
I mean,
You-
they don't
you know-
do valets or managers anymore. It's not really
Well,
a thing.
MVP is manager. Paul Heyman's the advocate,
Well,
or the
then
chief count, or whatever they call him, head counsel, whatever.
okay, so maybe we just don't have valets anymore, and you can make her a manager.
That's what I'm saying. Have her be a manager. Have her be that person that accompanies somebody, and then kind of slowly integrate her into the ring. Then she becomes a wrestler.
I guess the end game is where do
There's Finn.
where do you see her at the end of all this?
I don't know. I have no clue because remember the last time ended horribly, and if you to look at the reaction from, and granted it's the internet wrestling community, it's Twitter, it's wrestling Twitter, but to see some of the reactions. Wow, this is someone that there is no excitement whatsoever.
Oh,
This is kind of like, why are you wasting our time with her?
No, I disagree. I mean, I've seen parts of that, but then I've seen the entire other half that were really excited, seeing that maybe that she has improved in the ring, but they feel.
But we haven't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We've heard that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it.
I know, but you can't deny that there's still a whole subsection of fans that are very excited for her return, and the WWE is trying to capitalize on that popularity and seeing if she can go.
I hope so. I really do hope so. I really hope that it works out. Again, it's kind of like everything with WWE. I have very little faith. It's kind of like, show me. Just show me. Until then, I'm not going to buy into it. But we'll see. We shall see. Interesting. So Braun Strowman did an interview with Bleacher Report. And he mentioned the chaotic nature of Raw the last several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a reference to people getting sick. And we have talked about how we have seen basically the same people on Raw. And we had so I don't know if it's another COVID outbreak within WWE or whatever. He didn't mention COVID. He just said people getting sick. But he also mentioned about, there's been a lot made of the last minute rewrites. Vince tearing up the script and rewriting it like an hour before they go on air. It was interesting just to see that kind of exposed a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's not the first performer to come out and say those things, though.
No, of course not.
So it's just interesting that how the boss gets criticized in the open from his performers, and there's no retaliation anymore.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if I hope there won't be retaliation. I hope that.
Because 1990s Vince, early 2000s Vince wouldn't let this fly.
Oh Lord, he would have been fired. Braun would have been fired.
Oh, I don't know if he would have been fired, but he would have definitely had the Triple H treatment.
Definitely. Losing squash matches on main event or something like that. So, I did. Before we got to go to break here in a second, but main event seems like, and it's funny because main event came on before it.
How much are they paying
Main
you to
event,
promote main event?
It's just I'm just excited because I've actually found it and watched it, and it could be like WWE's version of AEW Dark without the independent talent. Now it'll never get that good. I will always put Dark and Elevation over that because of not only gives the AEW roster, ring time, but also shines a light on a lot of the independent talent, a lot of that we know, Will Alday and Vert Vixen and Jasmine Allure and a lot of the talent we see here in Texas has been getting the spotlight. Chandler Hopkins, he was put over big time by Paul White on Elevation.
Yeah.
In his match. So I would love to see that happen, but it's not going to happen because it's WWE. So we'll see. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, I will let you know what I got to see Saturday night. But you know what I mean, though. I mean, that's now main event could be that's where you start to see like some of those developmental wrestlers that are in developmental, but they're not, they're not ready for NXT television. Put them on main event. Have them go through the squash matches, like what we used to see back in the day, in Crockett or whatever, or even what we see now with AEW Dark and Elevation.
But is a watered down version of AEW Dark what you want to see? Because the WWE version won't be anywhere near as good. So,
but they don't have anything like that now. That's what I'm saying. Even a watered down version would be better than nothing. Because main event, outside of this Ali Ricochet thing, I don't know of anybody that tracks main event.
I can't tell you who's. I'd never see it.
Yeah,
I would see it on WWE Network.
I'd see the promos for it and stuff, but like I said, I was just that I found it. So, interesting stuff. So, they could do some deep. By the way, we're not on the air just yet. We're still on live on YouTube and Twitch. Hi, gang. Now, have you heard? So there are reports out there that WWE has been talking to Major League Wrestling.
Yeah, I saw that.
Apparently, there, some sort of possible. Now, I don't know where it would go. I don't know if it even goes anywhere. But who knows? Could see Jacob Fatu show up on NXT.
Oh, are you kidding? You already know what's going to happen. It's just like any relationship that they've built with any other.
True. Eventually, they'll win over, whatever. But
yeah,
still,
but it's classic. It's classic WWE. It's like,
yes.
Hey, you work with the territory that you want to take the talent from. They did it with ECW. They're going to do it with. They did it with Evolve, and they're going to do it now with.
Who am I thinking? Oh, between AEW and Impact and Grand. All we've seen with that.
Too.
Yeah.
And Hammerstone get picked up by WWE.
Yeah, I can
easily,
see that.
Because
yeah.
Hammerstone, he has the look.
He does.
And,
he's had that look.
And he has everything else working in his favor, I feel, too. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
But I've really liked his work recently.
Is this? Okay, no, this is different.
Yeah, this is her debut.
Is that the Saray, yeah. The young lady in the ring, that's AQA from Reality of Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
That's Booker T's, one of Booker T's students.
Oh, good. Another Texas person getting some shine.
Good on her.
Yeah, NXT Live.
So, yeah.
This is national audience.
It is.
So
it is. All right, let's talk some Mission Pro Wrestling. And again, forgive me, I got to mute because we don't want to get in trouble. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. So, Saturday night, ventured down to Buda to our old favorite place, Pinball's Kingdom, for Mission Pro Wrestling Locked and Loaded.
Yeah, you called me busy this week. You were like out fishing and you went wrestling. Hey, did you guys go eat? Did you guys ever make dinner? It was like
we did not. So we were
was
supposed
like
to meet
torrential
up.
downpour and stuff.
We were supposed to meet up with Dave LaGreca on Friday night, but he was stuck in San Antonio doing some promo stuff for Mission Pro. So got to see him Saturday though. By the way, something I realized when I got to Pinball's Kingdom. So Pinball's Kingdom has a little bit of NWA history because it is one of the few venues that has seen defenses of both the men's and women's NWA World titles.
Yeah.
And of course, we were part of the NWA, the men's NWA World title defenses with Jack Stane, and then Thunder Rosa defended the NWA Women's World title there. So that's kind of cool.
I just assumed that they had been defended on multiple shows together.
Well, no. Well, nowadays, sure. but we haven't seen it that much, and especially seen both of them there. So, but yes, Mission Pro Wrestling. So I made it down to Pinball's Kingdom. I got there early, went inside, and sure enough, there's Dave, his velour jacket, his Dusty Sucks Eggs T-shirt. It was good to see him. Gave him a big old hug. We talked for a bit, and I pleaded with him. Gave him one last plea. I said, Dave, are you sure? And he kept saying, I have a plan. I'm not a violent man, but if it gets down to it, I have a plan. I said, all right, whatever. So we get the show going. Fantastic show, by the way. I sat with Mark Henry,
Nice.
WWE Hall of Fame, co-host Busted Open. Sat with him and a bunch. So there is a Busted Open Nation group.
Yeah.
And they have a show and everything.
Yeah, they travel.
They travel. So I got to sit with them. Met with a lot of them. Great people.
Yeah, I remember Dave was telling us that.
Yes.
He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, I know a few that are going to be there for sure.
They were there in force. Had the big fathead signs things that they always carry. It was neat. First of all, the card itself, it was fantastic. Saw Roxy get a big win. The match that really caught a lot of people's attention, Genocide and Holiday.
Oh, yeah, they teamed up.
No, it was facing each other in a
Oh.
Falls Count Anywhere match.
What? That's crazy.
They fought all over. They fought all over Pinball's Kingdom. I thought there, some nicks. Our friend Dan Sayalana, who hosts Down for the Count for ESPN San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting on the far opposite side from where I am, and they fought over to his table, so he had to back away. It was a hell of a fight.
Nice.
It was great to watch. Holiday we know is impressive, but Genocide, that is a young lady you do not want to mess with, because she will ruin your day. Got to meet Red Velvet from AEW.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic talent. Tiny. I mean, she looks like strong wind could pick her up. But
Well,
she's a hell of a talent in the ring.
I was going to say,
And obviously had a big fan base there at Mission Pro.
who was the first AEW women's champion?
Oh, Riho.
Yeah, and we saw her.
Yeah,
live,
we saw her
and
live.
she's
Yeah.
not exactly a big person
No,
either. So,
no.
but it's just like,
She's
it's
tiny too. So, got through the rest of the show. Great matches. Jasmine Allure was there. I think she turned heel. So this will be interesting to watch her as a heel, because I'd seen her as a babyface at AAPW. So it'll be fun to watch her as a heel. So we finally get to the confrontation.
Mhm.
So Dave comes out, and crowd is booing, except for the Nation. But they are letting him know, and he's going through the whole story. So he finally calls out Thunder Rosa. Sure enough, here comes Thunder Rosa with her son Anakin, who is training to be a wrestler at the Dog Pound Dojo with
I've
Rodney
seen
Mack and Jazz. He accompanied her, and Dave took off the velour jacket, ripped his shirt to reveal he was wearing a Britt Baker shirt.
Nice.
No, he wasn't. Because that may be the last thing Dave remembers. Because Thunder Rosa commenced to giving him the beating of
Why?
it was.
Why'd you let that happen?
Why did I? What do you mean? Why did I let that happen?
You could have
What am I-
stopped it.
Hell no.
So you wanted to
I
see
told-
Dave get beat.
No, I don't want to see. I pleaded with him
Then
not to
you
poke the
should
bear.
have got in the ring and told Thunder Rosa
Wrong.
to stop.
No. You know what Thunder Rosa would have done? She would have started walloping me.
That's fine. You take one for a friend.
No. No, because I warned Dave. I said, don't poke the bear.
Yeah, but I mean,
No.
it's your friend. At that point, you have to
Mark
jump
Henry
in.
was sitting next to me.
Mark was not going to get in there. He's already done his.
Yeah,
time.
I'm with Mark. I'm not getting in there either. So anyway, it was. I mean, she beat the tar out. She kicked him. She ripped the Britt Baker shirt and gave him. Remember Keith Lee does the double, chop. Gave him several of those. His chest was beat red.
Oh yeah, I saw the photos.
And then he tries to, allegedly tries to make peace. Has a bottle of champagne in the glass. Tries to hand Thunder Rosa the glass, and then Dave had these security people.
Mm-hmm.
One of the security people grabs Thunder Rosa, and Dave's got the bottle. He's going to slam the bottle into Thunder Rosa's head. But then Thunder Rosa ducked, and the security guard got it. And Thunder Rosa, again, continued to just beat the snot out of him until Dave finally escaped.
That was his plan?
Apparently that was the plan. It was a horrible plan.
Wow.
And it failed miserably.
I mean, we should have had a conference. We could put something better together there.
It was not
just
good.
Just in case.
So, all in all, it was Dave did get out of there alive. He has made it back to New Jersey. I saw a picture. Violetta his lovely wife put up a picture. Basically, it was Dave, the entire body of Dave covered in a Band-Aid, giant Band-Aid. But anyway, it was a fun show. They had a huge crowd there. We had a lot of luminaries. As mentioned, Dan Ceolano from ESPN San Antonio, Joe Galley, the voice of the NWA.
Yeah, he seems to follow around wherever there's some big time NWA talent.
He's just down in San Antonio. Emmy-winning newsman there. Saw some of our radio colleagues, Austin radio colleagues, around. It was, all in all, just a lot of fun. Mission Pro Wrestling, it was a great show. Their next event is June 12th, back at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda. So start making your plans. They do stream on the Title Match Network, so if you can't make it to Buda, you can stream it. They'll have a big card set up for June 12th. But, yeah, keep an eye on Mission Pro Wrestling because they have something really good going. And I couldn't be happier for Thunder Rosa, her husband Brian, Jeremiah Wilkerson, our good friend who works there, everybody there. Brittany, I can't remember how to pronounce her last name. She does a lot of like ring announcing and commentary. She owns Elevate Pro in Louisiana.
Oh, cool.
She's about to become the better half of one Nigel Rabid. So it was good to see her. So it was, all in all, great show, great atmosphere. Not to mention, I love Pinball's Kingdom. I think, a little bit is nostalgia from all the fun we had there with Pro Wrestling Texas. But, yeah, hell of a show. So, speaking of women's wrestling, Ring of Honor debuted their women's division last Wednesday. And among the competitors, Roxy and Hyon.
Yeah.
Both Texas girls. So,
that
got
Texas
to see them. And Roxy was at Mission Pro, so I told her how proud we were to see her on there. Hopefully, Ring of Honor can make something of the women's division with Maria Kanellis at the head. She's running that. And Ring of Honor has always been that one. They can really make something, make it about the wrestling. So I really hope we see some good things out of their women's division. See them crown a new women's world champion.
Well, it's led to discussion and putting some pressure on WWE to come up with an all-women's show.
Well, there's been a lot of talk. Mick Foley has sent tweets out. Mick Foley, by the way, he tweeted out. He watched Mission Pro Wrestling on Title Match, tweeted out how much he enjoyed the show. There's been a lot of talk about having an all-women's wrestling organization on TV.
But at the same token, I wouldn't want it to come at a discount of those performers not being featured on the main programming as we're accustomed to having on SmackDown, on Raw, on NXT.
Yeah. This week, in fact, as this show is airing on the Horn, we will be watching Blood and Guts on AEW Dynamite, the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle.
And they're just
Now-
giving this away for free, right?
And
I'm
is it just
saying,
me, or
right?
is this happening too soon?
A little soon. I was just
I
like,
mean-
I didn't think the turnaround was this quick. I thought there was going to be a few more weeks
Well, I
leading up
thought
to this.
maybe they would at least do it for for Double or Nothing, but
Yeah.
no, they're doing it on, tomorrow night if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube. Tonight if you're listening on the Horn, they're doing it on Dynamite on TNT.
So I guess at the same token, though, if they are kind of trying to harken back to those old school NWA/WCW early days, like those early Clash of the Champions.
Well,
those
it's the early version of War Games.
exactly. So and those used to be on over-the-air cable as opposed to making those pay-per-view
Well, there
events
were
early on.
some. Well, so when it started at Great American Bash,
Yeah.
which was not even televised.
No, it was just a tour.
Anyway, it was the touring thing. They did end up on Clash of Champions on TBS. I think they did them on a couple of pay-per-views. In fact, our dear friend, our honorary co-host, AEW correspondent Dustin Rhodes, he was part of a War Games match back in the day. And those are always when watching NXT do it. It's it's got a little bit of that feel. There's still a little bit. I'm wondering if they'll put the ceiling on the cages.
I don't think we're ever going to see that again. I think there's too much with the athleticism of the wrestlers now to
Could
be
make
done.
the cages taller.
You
I
could
guess.
try, but I don't think. I think there's like a certain point where like, well, if you do that, it doesn't help.
The other thing is, are they going to do it in Daly's place, or will they do it in TIAA Bank Field?
That's a good question.
In the Jaguar Stadium, because you're going to have two rings. There's only so much room down there in Daly's place where the ring is. Then you got to put the cage on it.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Is there a crowd?
I don't. There will be a crowd. Yeah, there will be. They were selling tickets.
Well, because the last time we saw him perform in the stadium, there was no crowd.
Oh! I see what you mean. Yes,
So I'm just
inside
like-
the actual stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that like how you're picturing it? Like they're gonna just put it like on the 50-yard line and just go, and then they'll put the seats
That would
around
be cool.
it.
I mean, will Shad let that happen? I don't know.
I mean, you can always.
And if so, can we get Trevor Lawrence in the crowd?
oh wow! I mean,
the number one draft pick,
I mean,
their new quarterback.
that doesn't pop me, but I understand for some subsect of the fanship or
I know,
viewership,
it's-
that will be huge for them to get
Sure.
that crossover.
By the way, did you watch any of the NFL draft? See
Uh,
TK sitting over there doing his thing. He was in the draft. He was in the draft room for the Jaguars.
Oh no.
By the way, they picked both Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, the running back from Clemson.
Yeah.
So
they'll
you
just
got
be-
two teammates with the Jaguars. So anyway, Blood and Guts. Hopefully by the time you listen to this, it is in the middle of it and it's a banger. If last week's parlay is any indication, should be classic TV. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling this weekend. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening.
That's creepy
Apparently
as-
so. Dexter Loomis and Indy Hartwell they have this like, I don't know.
Yeah, like he picked her up and took her
She's-
carried her away from the
Well,
ring
see,
last
and
time.
now apparently Indy Hartwell is not smitten with him, but he's still smitten with her. I
It
don't
does,
know.
but it's a natural. But that's like a natural movement for the creepiness of that character. So
Why
so-
not?
So it works.
yeah,
Ah, yes, Young Rock.
yeah, renewed
Yes.
for a second season.
Oh wait, is this just like a rerun?
No, they're promoting Peacock.
Oh, okay, Peacock.
Everything
yeah,
that's on
'cause, I
Peacock.
mean, I watch Young Rock, and if you don't watch Young Rock, you should.
By the
watch
way,
Young
for those
Rock.
of you that are on YouTube and Twitch, in honor of May the 4th be with you, we got the Baby Yoda here on the desk, sitting next to Dustin.
I'm like the only person that doesn't care about Star Wars. Now I know.
You and LaGreca.
Ah, that's right. See, Dave and I have so much in common.
Well, Dave and I have so much in common.
Maybe I
but
should
we've
be
known
Dave's-
each other for a long time.
Maybe I should become Dave's protege.
Sure.
See, we already are on the same page. We don't like Star Wars. It's like it's.
Well, I
natural.
mean, I like Star. I'm not like crazy about it, But I love. I mean, yeah, Star Wars is I've seen every movie.
I have
Wasn't
not.
crazy about the prequels,
I have not.
but I saw every movie in the theater when it debuted, including New Hope when I was 10.
Is this L.A. Knight?
That would be L.A. Knight, a.k.a. Eli Drake, with Ric Flair doing the Car Shield commercials.
I didn't realize
They're filming this. They're filming that in the. That's the studio where they used to film Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And in fact, I think New Japan uses now for NJPW Strong.
No, I just didn't realize
It's in L.A.
I didn't realize that L.A. Knight was in that commercial.
Yeah.
I saw Ric Flair, but I
Eli Drake, so good.
well, we
He's
just saw
the
him win
best.
right now,
Yeah, we did. So.
and you have to wonder, man, the guy looks great. Like
Who?
he's like absolutely ripped.
Oh, he's always had that look.
I know.
But it's the talk though. He is I would say he is one of the best talkers that until now wasn't in WWE or AEW.
Yeah, but now I think the people that aren't familiar with his work from TNA
Yeah.
/ Impact,
Yeah.
like will finally get to see what
I hope
he's
so.
about.
And I hope they let him flourish. Let him talk. Let him do all the stuff.
But I mean,
because
NXT is the perfect stop for a guy like that, though.
it is, but let him do all the stuff,
Dummy, yeah.
All that kind of thing.
Let me talk to you.
And he still does let me talk to you. I like that. So there's at least that. So wrestled before I got to meet him, got the interview and got the liner from him. And just great guy. And I told him, look, his talking alone should get him on some major roster. So yeah, good stuff. So all right, let's do this last segment. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. I play that because the former Lucha Underground champion, Marty the Moth, now Marty Casillas, was on AEW Dark recently. In fact, he wrestled Brian Cage.
Yeah.
So the Believers got the match. Two former Lucha Underground champions.
You'd be surprised how often that happens
I know.
in like other promotions where it's like, oh, these two work together and now they're facing off.
Well,
against
we
each
saw.
other.
Didn't we see an NXT with Swerve and who was it? I saw him wrestle one of his former Lucha Underground folks.
I just can't remember which one.
I can't
but I know.
remember
But I
either.
know that happened.
Yeah. So anyway, happy for him. I miss Lucha Underground.
But this is my dude.
That was a
right-
hell of a show.
But this is my dude right here on NXT is Santos right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the next big thing
El
if they
Hijo
let him
de
do it.
Fantasma without the mask.
I think he's the one that can do it. That could be that next Rey Mysterio, if you will.
Yeah, we're recording this on Tuesday night, so yes, we got NXT on the TV screen. Got a couple of events to tell you about for this weekend in independent wrestling. We're gonna start in Sherman. Texoma Pro Wrestling is doing what they call Texoma 2.0. So they have what they call Ascension this Friday night. Sherman Elks Lodge, bell time 8 p.m. Mr. Wobble, Jay Strong, will be there. He tried to get me to wobble once. It was crazy. Charlie Haas will be there, Mika Madrid, and more. That's Texoma Pro Wrestling, Texoma 2.0, rather, this Friday night in Sherman. And then Pro Wrestling Dallas is part of the Independent Wrestling Expo 4. It is Saturday at the Rail Club Live in Fort Worth. Bell time 2 p.m., an afternoon show. We mentioned him earlier. The MLW World Heavyweight Champion Jacob Fatu will be there. Will Allday, Luke Gotti, Roxy, Gino Medina, and more. That's the Independent Wrestling Expo 4 this Saturday in Fort Worth. And that's a look at independent wrestling in the area. all these shows, as well as many other, they still adhering to wearing masks, distancing. But if you feel so inclined, support independent wrestling this weekend.
But how cool is that? That a lot of that talent is featured on national television.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially with Gino and Jacob on MLW. We've had Will Allday on AEW, Roxy and Ring of Honor. I mean, that's and if you see the lineup with everybody that's listed on there, King Mo's going to be there.
Oh yeah, that's right. King Mo.
Several others. So a lot of good stuff there at the Independent Wrestling Expo there in Fort Worth this weekend. Our good friend Reese Kelly Graham from the Dallas Morning News broke this story. It was first reported by Mike Johnson from PW Insider. So Major League Wrestling, Court Bauer has confirmed that Major League Wrestling will return to Dallas in September. So they are going to tour. They had a show scheduled for, I think it was May of last year. They had to, of course, cancel it. They are bringing Major League Wrestling to Dallas in September. So that'll be good to see. And you know that Ross and Marshall, the Von Erichs, will be part of that.
Well, I mean, if they're both healthy.
Yeah. I think, is it Marshall with the elbow injury, I think?
I can't remember which one.
I think Marshall's the one that's injured.
But it is funny that you mentioned this now because I'm like, I feel this was old news because I saw it on their Twitter handle, and they were like, oh, what cities do you want us to run now that MLW is back? And somebody had said Dallas, and they were like, well, yeah, we're going to run Dallas really soon. But this is the confirmation of that.
Confirmation, yeah, and they said this.
I just already assumed that it was going to happen. So.
Well, it is going to happen in September. We know AEW is set to be in Houston in August.
Okay, that's
so cool. And we will see.
So you're driving to Houston?
Oh God, yeah. I think it's on my birthday weekend. We have heard that WWE will go back on tour eventually. They've been talking. If you believe the rumor innuendo, they've been talking to their wrestlers, behind the scenes, and let them know that yes, we're going back on the road. Well, now, when that happens, we'll see. What that will look like, we will see.
I also wonder if it's going to be at the same pace.
I wonder that too.
Because you've seen over time in the world of professional wrestling where the traveling schedule has lessened.
Right.
By an extreme extent in comparison to what the guys were pulling in the 70s and 80s.
Plus, before the pandemic hit, we kept hearing that the house shows were doing horribly financially.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't do house shows. Maybe it's just Raw and SmackDown.
But I'm okay with that.
I am too.
But the problem is
that's Monday, Friday every week anyway.
But the problem is without the house shows, it doesn't give the rest of that talent looking to adjust that opportunity to learn the WWE style in front of a live crowd.
And doesn't give you a chance to test matches either.
That, and it doesn't, and a lot of the times, like, it's a double-edged sword because, yes, you risk your talent's health, but at the same time, it allows the talent to try new things.
Yeah. Or
allows them to break character and have fun because it's like my broadcasting. Like, sometimes it really feels like a job, and other days you have to remember you're doing it for fun.
Right. Had a chance to do a media hard hat tour of the construction site there. Tim Lewicki, who is the head of the Oakview Group, who's one of the partners in that, got to take a tour of what they're building there. This is going to be a concert venue. Now, there will also be the Texas Longhorns men's and women's basketball games will play there as well. This is going to replace the Frank Irwin Center here in Austin. And we assume likely that's where WWE will end up. AEW could too. One of the features they have is they're going to have multiple seat configurations. So they have, like, for say Longhorns versus Kansas in basketball, they can have as high as like 16,000, 17,000. But for smaller events, they're going to have basically what looks like garage doors that will come down on the upper seating bowl, closing those off to where now you have about a 10,000, and that'll be for like concerts and such.
Only 17,000.
Well, you don't need much more than that. Not for an arena like that. So
this is supposed to be for like the top tier university in Texas. 17,000.
Well, we're not a basketball school yet. Chris Beard may change that. But anyway,
17,000.
It's going to be cool.
Is this big enough?
I think it is for Austin, yes.
No, is this big enough for WWE to bring a pay-per-view to Austin?
I don't know. We'll see. They, like you said, they have multiple configurations, so maybe with all the seating bowl plus seats on the floor, maybe it goes up a little more. I don't know. We'll see. Again, this venue is not supposed to open until April 2022, so we've still got time. They've got 60 dates booked already.
Wow.
Including the weekend. That'll be the first concert there.
Oh,
year,
you mean the weekend, the
Yes,
artist? Okay,
yes,
because I was like, what
the-
weekend? Which weekend? You
No,
mean
the
weekend?
He will
Gotcha.
be performing. So anyway, excited for the Moody Center, one of the newest pieces of the Austin sports and entertainment landscape. So that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. You can catch us Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. The Horn, 104.9 FM, 101.9 FM, and AM 1260. You can also catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com and click on the On Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time tonight. We will see you at the matches. And there we go. I probably won't have to cut too much.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, they go to smaller venues.
But pay-per-view. Pay-per-view.
Well, we're not talking WrestleMania. Backlash. I mean, okay. Well, Backlash won't have live fans in her, but they're regular pay-per-views. Now we're not talking like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble.
But that's what we deserve. We're a top-tier city now. We have professional sports teams, and
We have a major league professional sports team.
we have two of those. And you count Impact. Count them.
Okay, you see, yeah, you're mixing your bubbles. Yeah, you're wrestling and sports, two different things.
It's easier to find Major League Rugby than it is to find MLW.
Sure. Anyway, but yeah, I could see like say a Backlash or Money in the Bank coming to the Moody. They're saying it's going to be 15,000 seat venue. My guess it would be, and part of it is going to be, so the lower bowl goes all the way around. The upper bowl only goes in a horseshoe because it's going to be primarily considered a concert venue. So they'll have, this would be the west side of the arena. There's no upper seating, and the stands there are removable because that will be where the stage is for concerts. And it's going to be, there's like a glassed-in spot there where you can look out onto the city. If you're on one of the upper floors, you can look over into DKR. And they plan on doing like tailgating stuff there, and host college game day there for both football and basketball. So,
am I the only one that's not impressed? It's like you can sit 100,000 people at the stadium for football, but we can't even fit 25,000 in for a basketball game.
Why would hold it 25,000?
Yeah,
you can't get 17,000. Can't get that in the Irwin Center.
I feel like the Irwin Center should have, the new place, Moody Center, whatever it's going to be called.
The Moody Center
should have more seating.
No, they didn't. No, that was the whole thing. Part of the big thing was that they wanted a slightly smaller venue for basketball.
But the city keeps on growing, so it makes like no sense. Because that includes concerts as well.
But see, here's the thing. You also, this is way off. Well, I guess it's related to wrestling. You keep thinking it should be a bigger basketball. Texas is not a basketball school. They pull teeth trying to get fans in, unless it's a name like a Duke or Kansas or somebody like that. If it's Texas and Texas and even Texas A&M in basketball, they might get 10,000. But it's not. It's just not a draw. Now, part of that has been the simple fact that Texas basketball just hasn't been that great.
Yeah, but once you find another guy that's like Kevin Durant, you sell that place out.
Well, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what Chris Beard does as head coach. But yes, you're going to get 100,000 for Texas football because this is Texas. Football's king. Football will always be king. It's the same reason you get 55,000 at AT&T Stadium for the high school football state championships. See, that's just the way it is. So they were looking to center is horrible.
How much are they paying you to make this defense?
That's not a defense. This is what they've been talking about for the last year or two.
Because you've gone on about this since I started, and you've gone on it for another 5 minutes longer than I expected. And I was like, okay, man, and you feel very strongly about this Moody Center. Are you related to the people?
I wish I'm trying to get related to Matthew. Actually, he's one of the backers, so But anyway, they've got one of the other things is so where they have the bleachers, they have holes underneath. And apparently that's where the AC is going to be flowing. So the AC will be blowing like to your legs. It's interesting. It was cool. Got to see that. I got to see Q2 Stadium.
Yeah.
That was neat. Yes, I got to spend the day with Major League Fishing on Sunday. Couldn't be on the boat on Lake Travis, talking to a couple of fishermen. It was neat. A lot of fun this weekend. Worked in some wrestling, had brunch with Mark and some of the Busted Open Nation people.
Nice.
We went to Vaqueros.
Again, how much are they paying you to shill all this?
Well, Vaquero, I had a gift certificate from Vaqueros.
So that's how they paid you to say all this. Okay,
yes.
They got you with the gift certificate.
Yes.
Well,
and they do sponsor. I mean, they sponsor the hotline. So, what? It's Shotzi and complaining about Shotzi. She's cool. I've only met Ember once. She showed up at Inspire Pro one night when Matthew Palmer was wrestling.
Oh, well, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had just got signed at that point.
Yeah. But, Shotzi, we like Shotzi. I hope they don't lose the tag titles here.
Now that you say that,
they will.
Now, like Dexter Loomis is going to make that happen now. Good job, Stu.
I know. I jinxed
book.
I jinxed them. So.
And it makes logical sense, too, after what we've seen.
I got to go to the Capitol tomorrow.
Why?
To be a resource for. So they're having it's the House Public Health Committee, and they are having a hearing on a few bills. One of them involves regulation of athletic trainers. I don't have to testify, but I have to be there as a resource for our executive director who will be testifying.
So you're going to wear a tie?
I got to wear a tie and a coat. And I got to make my way downtown and go through all that crap.
How many of those coats and ties do you own?
I have 3 coats.
Nice.
I have a few ties. But I had to go buy slacks because I didn't have slacks. And a belt. I needed a belt. So I don't dress up often. In fact, I try to avoid it if at all possible. I mean, we've gotten to the point of the year where I won't wear long pants unless absolutely have to. I got a Austin FC hat when they did the soft opening of the Verde store.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like you bought one?
Yeah, I went and bought a hat.
Okay, I thought you won a hat.
No, I bought one. No, I bought one. Talked to Tom Webb, the vice president of PR and broadcasting for Austin FC.
Mm-hmm.
He was great to talk to. He was the one that took me out and showed me, where like the press box is and the clubs, and they have apparently the seats are mesh, but it's like an advanced technology of mesh.
So it's just plastic with like holes cut into
basically.
it.
the far ends. So
that doesn't sound too bad, especially during summertime.
Let's see. I guess it would be the east end, maybe the northeast end, where it says ATX. That's where they're going to put all the supporter groups. So like all the drums and the flags and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw Austin Anthem's doing a watch party on Sunday at Whitestone Brewery. I might try to go there. I have a friend that works there sometimes. It's over in Cedar Park.
Oh, is that where it is? Yeah.
Whitestone Brewing, yeah. Whitestone Brewery's in Cedar Park. The
then-
last one I went to, there was at Circle Brewery, which
the-
is right there in the shadow of Q2.
Well, the week before they were at Celis.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
That's close by.
so
That's
that was
that's around the corner from Q2 and Circle.
Yeah, I'm like, that's way closer to me. So I'm
I like
but,
Celis.
but like Whitestone, that's too far.
That's
for,
that's Cedar Park. Celis is good. I need to
Oh,
go back there
I don't know
soon.
what I'm going to do for the match because it's on a Sunday. So
Well,
I
let me
don't
know. Maybe I'll meet up with you. I had a great time at the first one. Met a lot of people. It was cool. Whack. Beating Candice LeRae with the trash can lids. There we go. Almost like their version of Bunkhouse Brawl. I do like Dustin carrying the bull rope.
it's a nice
Here
touch
lately.
to the
That is
the old
that
school.
is. I like that. I texted him see if he was going to try to get a couple minutes, but I figure they're pretty busy. So,
all in due time.
man, when Dave ripped off that shirt and showed the Britt Baker shirt, oh, that was hilarious. He wants to come back to Austin. He wants to bring his wife Violetta to Austin. So I think they're going to try maybe this fall. It was so good to see him though. I miss seeing him. I mean, there was a stretch I would see him at least once every year,
Mm-hmm.
at Super Bowl. But I hadn't seen him since, I guess, WrestleMania in New York. So, but it was good to see him. We hung out. Sean Mack from 94.7 and his lovely wife was there as well. Sean's a big fan of the show. I ran into him at Q2 too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he and Danny showed up. They were walking as I was leaving. So, oh, check this out. We're setting up the chairs. That should be fun. I guess I could turn up the sound a little bit. Oh, Candice LeRae with the fire extinguisher into the faces of the tag champs.
Commercial.
I think they still do the overrun though.
Yeah.
They were
but-
doing the overruns on Wednesday night, so I guess they're still doing it. No, they're on Tuesdays. Ooh. So yeah, ironed my slacks. Oh, Eric Burns. Yeah, it was great to see you too. Eric Burns was at Mission Pro, of
He's
course.
like, you can't leave him out. Sorry.
I just looked down and saw he was tweeting, so but yeah. Met a lot of the nation folks. There was one guy that was there that recognized me from Inspire.
Oh, nice.
What was his name? Danny, I think. Started following me on Twitter. I know that. Yes, Danny Solis. He sat down next to me. I was over there by Mark. He goes, haven't I seen you in an Inspire show? I said, yeah, I'm one of the commentators. Oh. Had a great time. He bought me a couple beers. It was very nice of him.
Oh, you got some stroke. Nice.
Yeah, it was neat. It was really neat. I guess we should sign off. It's commercial. Thanks to everybody that's joined us on Twitch and or YouTube. We'll be back next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. But for now, for Justin, I'm Stu.